So I was going to talk about listening as the big ears. And when I thought about listening, the first thing that most people think about is as when you're a listener. Okay. Now I'm going to try and in 3 minutes, try and talk about listening as in when you're a listener and thinking about listening, what others do when you're communicating as well, or when you're the speaker. So let's first talk about listening when you're the listener. Now, I cannot remember the name of the person. He's written a great book on listening, Daniel something, I think. And he's come up with this acronym from Sanskrit language, the meaning of which is juice or rasa, which is basically the sense of everything. And that acronym R.A.S.A represents what we need to do when we're listening. So R stands for receive, A is appreciate, S for summarize, and A for ask. So receive, when you're listening to somebody, receive what they're saying just with acceptance. Okay, so you try and pay attention to it, receive the message, and then A is the acceptance. So you're showing an appreciation. So you're showing that you're listening by giving verbal cues, nodding along, smiling, or saying, oh, really, asking those kind of verbal cues that you're giving. S is summarized, and that begins with the so. So when the speaker is talking and you go, so what you're saying is, and in a sense you summarize what the speaker's been saying, then you're showing that, okay, you understood what the person's saying and you've been paying attention. So S is for summarize, and A is ask. So when you want to ask more clarifying questions or something leading on to it, then ask. So rasa is basically listening when you're the listener. Now, another thing that we need to avoid doing when the acceptance or appreciation is given, when you're appreciating what the other person's talking, what we tend to do is, and I do that a lot as well, so I'm trying to work on it, is we go, I know. And sometimes I do it out of excitement. It's like, I know, right? And it's just, what you're doing is when you say, I know, it's just telling the other person, okay, well, I know this already. There's no new learning for me. And if you're not open to learning new things, what's the point? So avoid the trap of going, I know, and try and be more realistic. Show, okay, ask leading questions and go and yes. Okay, so yes and. So you go yes and if you want to add on to something. But the trap of I know is kind of off-putting. So that's basically the acronym of RASA. And when you're the speaker, also consider the fact that the other person listening comes from their own perspective and they have their own filters. So always consider your communication is not just what you're communicating, but what the other person understands. So be open-minded and, well, be clear. That's about it. Thank you.
Wow, amazing, Nikita. In fact, Rasa sound to me NASA, so I think I'll never forget now. Receiving, appreciation, summarize, and ask. Actually, it's too good, the kind of acronym what Nikita shared. And if you practice again and again, and it becomes really good. And even I do it sometimes. I know. In fact, initially I used to do I know, but after that I do I know within me. I don't speak I know. I say I know, ye pata hai. So now I'm working on that internal I know dialogue, so that even if I remove that, I can actually absorb what people are genuinely saying in an innocent way. So really nicely covered, Nikita. Thank you so much.